In this video, we'll be taking a look at 8 NCAAB matchups, and I'll break them all down with free winning picks so you can bet smarter and win bigger. But first, smash that subscribe button and ring the bell so you get our picks the second they drop, because when the lines move, the early birds cash in. And if you want the full winning sport picks experience, head over to wspicks.com and check out our VIP packages, or grab a free consultation with one of our professional sports consultants for the sharpest edge you'll find anywhere. That's where the real plays live. We are your bookmaker's worst nightmare. These are the games we're hammering, the ones the books can't afford you to bet. This is winning sport picks. The free picks are about to drop, and they're coming in hot. Arkansas versus Texas Tech sets up as a tight conference-style matchup, with Arkansas catching 2 and Texas Tech laying 1. And numbers this small usually come down to which side controls half-court efficiency late. Texas Tech typically thrives in slower, more physical games where possessions are valued, while Arkansas prefers a bit more freedom and tempo to create separation. With the total sitting around 152, scoring expectations are moderate, and that usually benefits the team better equipped to grind out points rather than chase pace. I like Texas Tech to cover the 1, and I like the game to stay under the 152. Michigan State versus Penn State shows Michigan State laying 12.5 and Penn State catching 12. And that spread reflects trust in Michigan State's ability to stretch games gradually rather than all at once. Penn State can stay competitive early, but longer stretches of disciplined defense tend to favor the favorite in matchups like this. With the total around 143, the market expects controlled scoring without extended runs. I like Michigan State to cover the 12.5, and I like the game to stay under the 144. Iona versus St. John's gives us a massive number, with Iona catching 27 and St. John's laying 26. And games like this usually hinge on whether the favorite keeps pressure on for a full 40 minutes. St. John's generally plays with enough pace and depth to separate, while Iona's path to value relies on slowing things down and limiting possessions. With the total around 162, offense is expected, but big favorites often dictate tempo late. I like St. John's to cover the 26, and I like the game to stay under the 164. Marquette versus Purdue features Purdue laying 17.5, with Marquette catching 18.5, and this matchup leans heavily on Purdue's ability to impose structure across extended stretches. Marquette can score, but when forced into half-court sets consistently, efficiency often drops. The total around 153 suggests steady offense without a true shootout, favoring the team that controls execution. I like Purdue to cover the 17.5, and I like the game to stay under the 153. USC Upstate versus North Carolina comes in with USC Upstate catching 27 and North Carolina laying 27, and this is a classic mismatch where the question is margin, not outcome. North Carolina typically controls pace, rebounding, and shot quality, which makes it difficult for underdogs to string together stops. With the total around 146, scoring should be consistent but not explosive enough to help the dogs shorten the game. I like North Carolina to cover the 27, and I like the game to stay under the 146. George Washington versus Florida shows George Washington catching 15.5, with Florida laying 14.5, and this spread reflects Florida's ability to pressure opponents into inefficient possessions. George Washington can hang when tempo stays neutral, but Florida often dictates rhythm and gradually stretches leads. With the total around 163, scoring expectations are elevated but still controlled by the favorite structure. I like Florida to cover the 14.5, and I like the game to stay under the 164. New Orleans versus Houston gives us one of the largest numbers on the board, with New Orleans catching 32 and Houston laying 32. And in spots like this, it's all about sustained defensive pressure. Houston usually keeps their foot on the gas defensively, which limits garbage time, backdoor chances. The total around 138 points to a slower, more controlled game that favors the favorite's ability to dominate possession. I like Houston to cover the 32, and I like the game to stay under the 138. Memphis versus Louisville closes the slate, with Memphis catching 16.5 and Louisville laying 15.5, and this matchup leans toward Louisville's ability to control tempo at home. Memphis can score in spurts, but Louisville's preference for structured half-court play tends to mute those runs over time. With the total around 159, the market expects points, but not enough volatility to flip the spread late. I like Louisville to cover the 15.5, and I like the game to stay under the 160. -62. Now listen to me, those are the free picks, but the one game I am unloading on tonight, the game that's going to crush your bookie's soul, that's the VIP play of the day at WSPicks.com. This is the nuke, the hammer, the max bet, the one play I've circled, the game that will bury your bookmaker 6 feet under. When it hits, and it will, your bookie is going to need a doctor, a lawyer, and maybe even a priest. If you want to ride with me on the biggest bet of the day, get to WSPicks.com right now. For the recap, I'm rolling with Texas Tech -1 and the under, Michigan State -12.5 and the under, St. John's -26 and the under, Purdue -17.5 and the under, North Carolina -27 and the under, Florida -14.5 and the under, Houston -32 and the under, and Louisville -15.5 with the under. This is Winning Sport Picks, where we don't just bet, we bury bookmakers. Smash that subscribe button, drop your favorite plays in the comments, and hammer that like button like you're hammering your bookie into the dirt. We're cashing, we're dominating, and tonight we're dancing on the grave of your bookmaker. Let's go!